Okay, now that you have your skirt assembled, you should have a full skirt. You should have a full bodice, no zipper at this point. There's a couple of things that I'm noticing that I want to do on the bodice. I'm going to run a basting stitch along the bottom of the bodice to connect the inner and outer pieces together. So I'm just working with one layer. I'm also going to be putting in another piece of that double-sided fusible tape for reinforcement, because when the weight of the skirt attaches to the bodice, it's going to pull, and I don't want my stitches to pop out. So I'm going to put a little bit of reinforcement there. Also, I kind of eyeballed my skirt. I laid it down on top of my bodice to make sure that my skirt was matching up precisely with the from the front to the back and ending right where the zipper edges should be on the fabric. I noticed that my skirt is a little bit larger, so I'm going to run two, let's see, actually I've probably already done it. I'm going to run two parallel gathering stitches in two different places. This is my front panel. There are those two front seams. I'm going to keep that part flat, or try to keep it as flat as possible. And I'm actually going to just put in the gathering stitches from each front center panel seams out toward the edge or the hip, or what will end up being the back, all the way to the end of the fabric. I'm just going to ever so slightly gather that as I attach the skirt to the bodice. Okay, so now I've got all of this done. None of this is pinned, none of this is sewn. All I did were those steps that I mentioned. The gathering of the skirt to slightly gather it and ease the skirt in to match the bodice. And before that, as when I did that double stick fusible. And what I've done is I've taken it to the ironing board and I've just matched up everywhere I'm supposed to match up. Front seams to front seams, ends, and then ease everything into there. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my trusty pins and I'm going to go back in and I'm going to pin in these guys, because I don't trust the tape completely. I still want to make sure everything is secure with the pins, and then I'm going to take it to my machine and I'm going to attach it per the seam allowance, per the instructions, and then we are going to be slightly done with this bad boy for the day, because we got to let it hang. Excuse my wet hair. Trying to be gentle on my hair since I came back from the beach. Anyway, something I wanted to emphasize. You have a lot of fabric working right now on your machine, and there's a lot of weight on the left side of your machine. The way that the dress is going to fall into your lap, the material is going to fall. It's going to create some pulling that you don't necessarily want. And something that I don't think that is emphasized very much is supporting your fabric. What does that mean? As you feed your fabric through the machine, you want to not have the gravity that's existing from the left and from the material that's in your lap as you're feeding it through. You don't want that to pull, because that will distort your fabric. So when I say support your fabric, that means not allowing this just to fall forward and gravity pull it forward. Ease it up, bunch it up. If you have to, put it like right there, and then focus on this part, and you're going to make sure this is nice and flat and even. You are going slow, and that's okay, just a little bit. Stop. Then adjust your fabric, making sure there's nothing pulling too hard to the left, nothing pulling too hard down. That is called supporting your fabric. You know, you're maybe you're lifting it a little bit to help keep it nice and flat. Whatever you have to do, just make sure it's not pulling to the left where the majority of your fabric is, or to in your lap, or from your lap. You will thank me. Okay, so now I have my skirt and my bodice attached. And you know what, guys, at this point, I'm looking at it going, oh my gosh, I messed that up. Oh my gosh, I messed that up. I've got a little bit of flap right here. Now I don't have a bra on to pull this up. Oh Oh my gosh, my seams aren't exactly matched up. Okay. The only person who's really going to notice that is me because it's like millimeters off, but I notice. So fight the tendency to start ridiculing and critiquing your performance because right now my dog is barking. Shh, you're being disruptive. Shh. Fight that urgency. You're not done yet. And there are things that we can do that will help give the dress, will fix a couple of issues. There's always some top stitching if things aren't laying right. Top stitching is a wonderful thing we can use. Or, I might not just care. But anyway, do your fit checks. I'm pretty pleased so far. This is where I start getting nervous. I'm like, oh my gosh, this doesn't feel like a lot of fabric right here. How am I going to get a zipper in? Oh my gosh, I still have to do a zipper. The freak out is real. All of these feelings that I'm feeling, you might be feeling them too, and that's okay. That's normal. This is where I keep being told, trust the process, trust the process. So look what you've done so far. That's the most important thing. And this is still a learning process, so don't be too hard on yourself. Just wanted to mention that. We're going to put this on the mannequin for 24 hours because I need it to hang. Or, yeah, we're going to let it hang. I'm not going to do the zipper yet because I'm too freaked out. Okay, see you on the next video.